Welcome to day 8 of our Christmas devotional series. Over the last few days, we've been looking at several different Old Testament prophecies. You could call them predictions if you wanted to, but they were prophecies about this King and Savior who was to come. I want to highlight just one more for us today. It's found in Micah chapter 5, verse 2. Here's what it says. It says, "But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, who were too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from ancient days." See, this prophecy found in Micah chapter 5 is about specifically the birthplace of this coming king, this coming savior. And it describes the small town of Bethlehem as being that place. Interestingly enough, the same birthplace of King David. And when you read the gospel stories of Jesus' birth, they tell us how that is exactly where Jesus was born. But interestingly, Joseph and Mary were forced to flee the town of Bethlehem in order to save Jesus' life from the murderous plot of Herod. Now, after living in Egypt for a while, after they had fled, they moved their family to the town of Nazareth. That's where Joseph was from. And so Jesus' hometown then became known as Nazareth. See, that proved troublesome for many of the religious leaders of Jesus' day who questioned his authenticity as Messiah because they knew the prophecy of Micah chapter 5, verse 2. And they expected the Messiah to come from Bethlehem. And because they just associated Jesus with Nazareth, they used this as evidence that Jesus could not be the Messiah because he did not come from where they expected. You may have even heard the phrase or read the phrase, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" I cannot help but wonder if these self-righteous religious leaders would have simply taken a few moments to actually inquire about this with Jesus. Like, what if they just had a conversation? Would they have discovered the truth that even though Jesus was raised in Nazareth, he was in fact born in Bethlehem and therefore could actually be their long-awaited Savior? If only they would have not been so narrow-minded in their expectations, would they have received the Savior who came in a way they did not expect. The truth is, Jesus may not come in the way that you expect in your life either. Can I just give us a bit of a warning today? I think we should be careful to not get so focused on expecting Jesus to show up in one way that we completely miss what he is actually doing in our lives in another way. Let me encourage you today. Jesus will work in your life. It just may not be exactly the way you expect him to, or maybe even how you think he should be working. But here's the good news. He's God. And he knows what you need even better than you do. And what God has for you will always be best. The question is, will you trust him enough to answer your prayers in ways that you may not expect or even prefer?